So yeah, this was supposed to be episode of how Tika became a missionary, but it's how we became missionaries.
And if
Welcome to episode 3, how Tika became a missionary.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
you wanna know, honey?
before we jump into that, definitely introductions. We're Teko and Gabrielle Bailey. We've been married for 5 years. We have 2 boys under the age of 2.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. We are full-time missionaries.
Mhm.
Tika's gonna share about that right now, how he
Woohoo.
became one. But yeah, we've been missionaries for over 10 years, 5 years,
Whoa,
or
it's been
5
that
going
long?
on 6 years as a
Yeah.
family.
I feel like I'm like getting old.
Well, if it's 10 years, well, over 10 years, because
Well,
you're
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Yeah. So we've been full-time missionaries for over 10 years,
Yeah.
and we're Jamaicans, but now we're based in the land of Aloha.
That is Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii.
man.
So, yeah, we're talking about how Teko became a missionary. Tell us, did you think you wanted to be a missionary?
Oh my gosh,
When you were growing up?
that was like not even on my bucket list of
Exactly.
things to do.
Mine either, but mine is a different
Um,
episode.
Let's see, how did this even start?
Yeah.
I went to school to study music.
Yeah, I know, it's so,
I did
so
music
weird.
and education, which
Yeah.
unfortunately I'm not really doing much
But
in
you know
any
what,
of those
though?
areas right now.
Every single mission trip that we've done,
Yeah.
everybody thinks like, "Oh, are you a Marley?" I
Oh,
mean, you
yeah.
don't look like a Marley, but
Well,
they
when
hear,
I'm very bearded,
they hear, and they're
when
like,
I'm very bearded,
yeah.
yeah.
So your singing does get us into different
It
places.
does, and I mean my music pops out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Where necessary.
Yeah.
Um,
So you studied music,
yeah.
and that's university.
Yeah.
Okay. After university, were you a
Um,
Christian growing up?
Well, I grew up in a non-Christian family,
Mm-hmm.
and my eldest sister, hey Tenny, she was the one who became the first Christian in the family, and little by little, others of us in the family became Christians. We're still not all there yet, but we're slowly getting there.
And it's that huge
We still have some
family.
more work to do.
Oh my word.
But she was the first one who became a Christian, and then I think it was one day when I was about 13 or something like that. There was a open air crusade, as we would call it in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Ryan-
if you know Open Air Crusades, you know Open Air
like,
Crusades.
it's huge. And if I remember correctly, it was at National Heroes Circle, Reinhard Bunke.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This is like, for those of you who know Reinhard Bunke, or for those of you who are from Germany,
Yeah.
he's German, and he's like this huge evangelist,
Yeah.
who just travels around the world, places like Africa. I mean, the man draws crowds, and like he's really anointed. The power of God is on him.
So he was there.
It was at age 13, and they had like an altar call, and did the prayer thing. If you want to know Jesus, and I just like, yeah, I want to know
And
Jesus.
that was it?
And yeah, that was it. Age 13, and
Wow.
boom, I was just like in it, and went to church, same church my sister went to, and started going to the new converts classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from there I just kept on going to church with her and her friends, and
Yeah.
some of my neighbors, one specific neighbor, I used to go to church with them. Big up to my friend Mark, Mark White. They were very influential in my life at the time. And Jamaica is considered as a Christian country.
Yeah.
Even though we aren't really
we
all
are,
Christian.
to some extent.
We're Christian based in our
We have
thinking.
the most churches
we
per
have the
square mile. Is that still the case? I think so.
Yeah. So, in Jamaica, you're expected to go to church like Christmas, Easter, those kind of holiday things when your parents or your grandparents are like, you have to go to church because you need God's blessing kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, my family was kind of like that,
So that's when you got saved.
Yeah, that's when I
So
got
that's
saved.
13. You
Yeah,
got saved,
13.
then you went to studied music. After music, what happened?
After
Because when you got
music-
saved, were you thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna be a
Oh,
missionary"?
no.
Because you did music.
So my sister did a course called DTS, Discipleship Training School,
Right.
and that's in an organization called Youth with a Mission,
Right.
YWAM.
Mm-hmm. That's the mission organization that we work
So
with
yeah,
now.
we work with them now.
Yeah.
But at the time, like, neither my family or myself fully understood the concept of that. I'd gone to some summer camps, so I kind of knew a little bit about it before.
Right.
And then one of the leaders in the camp, she knew me, she knew my sister, or several of them, I should say.
Yeah.
And I think they influenced me in doing a DTS course, the
Right.
Discipleship Training School, which is 6 months. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, hell no, I don't want to do this. I have no interest in doing it. Well, actually, I thought, I was already going to church. I knew who the Lord was.
Right.
Back in the days when I used to go to Word of Life, that was the time of the prophetic movement. And like, the prophetic movement was huge in Jamaica back in the days.
Right.
Like, maybe I would say maybe around a certain circle of churches and stuff like that in Kingston. But yeah, so I was like, I know God already, all this kind of thing. Why do I need to do a discipleship training school?
Right. And so the
that sort of
6
thing.
months, context for people.
Yeah.
The 6 months.
It's 3 months of a
right.
lecture phase, and then 3 months you do an outreach in a different country. So
Right.
pretty much practicing what you've learned. So yeah, from there, one of my leaders during the DTS, or actually at the end of the DTS, she said to me, hey, would you be interested in joining as a staff? And I thought in my head, you must be crazy.
Oh my
like, I don't
word.
want to do this thing forever. Like, I had my plans. One of the things I enjoyed doing was working with Walter Elmore, who does the Jazz and Blues Festival in Jamaica. And that had just kind of started a little bit after. And I was like, I don't want to give up this. This is what I've been waiting to do,
Right.
work with big events and stuff like that. But I went to Philadelphia to visit a family member for about 2 months after the DTS. And I was just praying and asking the Lord, what's the next step? And the thought of coming back to serving with YWAM, I think, kept coming back to mind. I had another option to do some work in the US, but I was like, the thought of coming back to do ministry work was plaguing my mind. It's maybe the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And it's just like the Lord was really kind of wooing me
nudging
in.
your heart in that
kinda
direction.
And so I think that's how it kind of started. After my time in the US, I came back to Jamaica, and I felt like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. I was a little bit scared
Right.
of making that choice because so my dad, he has his own business, and he always wanted a family business.
Right. And he has enough people to run a business.
And yeah, so like, you're gonna do ministry work, not the music, and you're not going to work in your dad's business. What are you thinking?
Exactly.
And so I couldn't really tell my dad what I was gonna do.
Because he's not a Christian.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
I couldn't really tell my dad what I was gonna do, even though I was out the house and everything. But make a long story short, my dad wouldn't have approved at the time.
At the time.
How
do you think he feels now? Does he fully understand now?
I don't think he fully understands, but he understands enough because he's visited me 1 or 2 times when I was in Jamaica working, and have seen some of the work and understood a little bit more. But I think when I started going to Africa, he's a little bit more interested, because my dad can be very Afrocentric.
I get you. And that's so true. That is so true. So the Africa definitely just walking in my footsteps.
So yeah, by now he has caught on a little bit more to it. Not there 100%, but definitely more than when I started.
Oh, your story is a lot simpler than I thought it would be. Or did you just like...
I don't know, maybe I cut out some other pieces.
Yeah, it's a lot simpler.
What else you want to know?
No, I think that's it. Like, so you did that, and then I think we probably should share this Sierra Leone story on its own.
Yeah.
I could probably just share mine.
Go for it.
I grew up in a Christian family.
Yeah.
So yeah, this isn't a new episode, but I'll just jump
in.
It was supposed to be a new episode. Yeah. But yeah, I grew up in a Christian family. I'm the only girl of 4, so I have 3 brothers.
Yeah,
I'm the only
princess
girl.
in the house.
Yeah, right. Maybe the tomboy at the time. My parents did send me. Well, my mom passed away when I was young, so my
Yeah.
dad, he sent me to an all-girls school
Mhm.
because I really needed the help.
Mhm.
I needed the help to be feminine.
Too many boys in the house.
I think so. So, yeah, grew up in a Christian family. I got saved when I was 10. You know, I got to a really like strong Baptist church. Exactly.
Come on.
Very traditional. He's been there. He's
Gotta
like,
give it to the Baptist. They know the Bible.
and I'm telling you, our faith journeys are so different
Yeah.
that I would start out in a hymn at the
And
random
I have
time.
no clue what this hymn is about. And she always thinks I know them.
That's so
and
true.
I don't.
So
Maybe
our
one or
faith
two.
story is so different. So yeah, I grew up in a very traditional Baptist church. I went to a boarding school.
Yeah.
So we also had very traditional, like I guess Christian background there as well. But then yeah, when I was in high school, after my mom passed away, I think the pressure in high school, because she had taught at the high school I was going to. So I think the pressure
Wow.
of the teachers and other people there knowing her
Mhm.
was just so much on me that I
Expectations.
really was rebellious when it came to
Yeah.
like ISCF,
Yeah.
Inter-School Christian Fellowship. I was just not going to
Get me
ISCF
out of
on
that.
Fridays
Yeah.
because that was what they expected. You know,
Mhm.
obviously Christian Gabby, she's gonna go.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I want to live my own life.
Come on.
You guys keep putting me in your shadow. I'm not going.
Uh,
And so I wouldn't go to ICF on Fridays. And when I had the chance, I wouldn't go to the Baptist church on Sundays. When I was
Mhm.
at high school,
mhm.
I tried to go to like the Methodist or different churches.
Okay.
And I think at that point, it was just this sort of searching kind of journey. Like,
Mhm.
I know my faith in this general context. I know it in like church or with my family. I know my mom's faith or my parents' faith. What
Mhm.
about my own?
Yeah.
And so after high school, a friend of mine, her mom told me about YWAM. And she's
Mhm.
like, oh, they have this camp going on for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Which at the time was just so long for a summer camp. Because every summer camp is a week long.
Yeah.
So it's 3 weeks, and she wanted me to sign up to go so that her daughter would go.
Okay, so she wanted company.
Right.
It's really for the
right.
support.
And I think it was more like how to sell the idea to her daughter.
Yeah.
So I eventually, told my dad about it, and
Mhm.
I ended up going to this camp for 3 weeks,
Hmm.
and then the friend didn't come.
Oh wow.
So here I was
Crazy.
in this place I didn't know about before at all for 3 weeks with
Mhm.
no friends.
Wow.
And it was so life-changing. It was, I think, the best thing that needed to happen for me, because the
Mhm.
Lord knew I needed to be in a place without people I knew so that I could focus
Mhm.
and decide if this was something I wanted to pursue. Not necessarily missions, but my faith.
Mhm.
Like, did I want to really dig into my faith? Did I want to pursue it? Did I want to own it? That sort of thing. So I did that for 3 weeks, and then went back to like sixth form, high school, went
Okay.
back to school.
Yeah.
And at the end, when I was getting ready to go to college,
Mhm.
that's when the thought kept coming back to me, like, oh, let's do the next step, do a DTS, the
Mhm.
Discipleship Training School. And so, yeah, that was kind of like, everybody usually leaves high school and then does college.
Yeah.
Me going to do a DTS 6 months.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we're not really Americans. We don't take gap years.
Exactly. You go straight into
You go-
university.
exactly. So I don't know if people thought I was having like some sort of identity crisis or whatever, but I ended up doing the DTS. Shout out to my dad, because in hindsight I'm like, wow, I don't know how he had the courage to do it. So I did that DTS, and 3 months learning, and then I went to West Africa,
Mhm.
which was great.
Was it a culture shock for you?
It was a culture shock in some senses. Like, we had to wear long skirts. It was I kind of felt like I understood the place because of, I guess, the Jamaican background.
Mhm.
And Pato was very helpful. Like,
Mhm.
knowing Pato, I could pick up some things there.
Yeah.
But I remember at the end of the 3 months there, I was just like, oh, this isn't so bad. Like,
Yeah.
oh, no, I know what missionaries do. Like, it's not like And no offense to nuns, but it's not like I'm a nun.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was just like, oh, this is what they do. And so I think at the end of that outreach, I was just like, oh, I could do this. And it wasn't like a I'm gonna do this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think my story into how I became a missionary was just being obedient with one step after the next. So I did the DTS, went to Africa, came back home, and it was like, okay, Holy Spirit, what do I do next? What do I do? What is the next thing that you have for me, Lord?
Can I jump in on that?
Yeah.
You know, this was one key part in the story that I think I left out was during my time in the DTS. What influenced me a lot in making the decision to go back was I could hear God's voice.
Me too.
Trying to find the best way to say that so people can understand.
Right, so it doesn't sound spooky.
Before, going to church, you know about Jesus, you read the Bible, that sort of thing, you know about God. But I didn't know that you could literally pray, wait, and hear God's voice.
Right, and it sounds crazy because as a Christian, there's some people who'd be like, how can you not know that? But I think it was just how they made it practical.
Yeah.
Like, follow these steps and you can learn to hear God's voice. Like, it's something you can practice doing and you can learn to hear his voice.
Yeah.
So I think that's, they made it practical.
And I think because I experienced that during the DTS on several occasions with several, I'd say, key decisions I had to make and how it kind of just, whatever I heard from the Lord, I wrote it out or I acted on that.
Exactly.
And then I saw like, whoa, this thing works. And then reading again about different men in the Bible, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, these kind of people, and seeing some of the faithful steps that they took and how God came through for them, I felt like some of those things were happening for me at the time, which reinforced more about who Jesus was. It wasn't just a God of the Bible anymore. It was just this God that I was now seeing in reality and walking with.
Which I think, now that I think about it, I don't think there was any point in my journey where I was like, yes, I'm going to become a missionary. It was, I did Africa and then I was just like, okay, well, what's the next thing? I did that whole thing again, praying and waiting. And then I went to India and it was, I just kept doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's been any point where I went like, oh, I think I'm going to be a missionary right now.
Yes.
It just happened because I kept praying and like, well, what's the next thing?
The pieces started coming together.
Right.
So yeah, I think that was a key point for me where that made a huge that was a huge part of my decision why I chose to come back, because I was like, okay, if God can do these things for men in the Bible,
and the
why
fact that
couldn't
he does it
do
with
it for
you,
me,
Right.
So yeah.
So yeah, we became missionaries, and I absolutely don't regret it. I've been doing this 5 years with you, so that was probably like 3 or 4 years before, so close to 10 years for me. Wow. And I don't regret it at all. I ended up doing my degree while I was still in missions when we got married, and it's just been, there have been difficult times, but it has been a rewarding journey overall, wouldn't you say?
It has been very rewarding. I think
the
when
people
you
seeing the video know that he was playing with Kavika.
When you share with people the gospel and see their lives being slowly transformed. And when I say share the gospel, it's in many different ways. It's in speaking to them directly, doing acts of service, different types of mercy ministry work. Mercy ministry meaning like building a house, bringing in medical supplies, different stuff like that. Because we still do some of that in West Africa and Sierra Leone. So yeah, those things, when you understand how the Bible transforms a nation, a community, a society, a people group, I don't think you can turn back on that.
And I think that's the key component. We had the experience of learning and then seeing it in action, and that's the powerful part, learning to hear God's voice and seeing it in action. And we were sold. So this was supposed to be episode of how Teko became a missionary, but it's how we became missionaries.
And if you're out there and you're like in this place of like, you know what, I really want to do something like this, but I don't know how.
Yay.
Send us a message. We'd love to talk to you some more.
Absolutely.
Because I know some people are afraid or some people are scared of like transitioning into something like that.
And you can find our website, wearethebaileys.org.
Yeah.
We talk about it
Mhm.
there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, send us, I don't know if you want to do it in comments or just messages
Mm-hmm.
with other questions that you might have so we can answer those.
I would say life is more than just getting a degree at university. Because a lot of us have degrees, but we still don't have a sense of what our purpose is.
Right.
Like, why am I created? What's the purpose?
And
why
the
I'm here
truth
on
is,
earth?
you can get a degree just like everybody else, but because you know your purpose, that
Mhm.
degree comes alive.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, just we don't want people to miss what they've been put on earth to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Take
Yeah.
it easy, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Pdoo.